announcements. I was sitting on my balcony here editing the announcements and I realized I did not put in an introduction, so this is the introduction. I've got some quick announcements. I got shout outs for all the birthdays in March and April. I've got another segment or two from your favorite teachers. It's going to be awesome. Virtual choir, get ready. If you have not submitted your singing or your instrumental parts, they are due on May the 4th, as in May the 4th be with you. I haven't done mine yet. Sorry, Mr. King. I am going to do mine this weekend. Be ready for the thunder. Literary journal. Guys, if you're feeling literary, if you got some poems, got some short stories, whatever you got, please submit those. You can send them to Miss Scott, or you can send them even to me. I'm not going to post those addresses again, but please write me if you would like to submit something to the Literary Journal or Miss Scott. And now for the birthdays. Jiwon, Krzysztof, Laura, Youngjun, Christian, Philip, Sunghan, Mariuszka, Michal, Alexandra, Donggun, Cheon, Stepan, Richard, Sofia, Alexander, Victor, and Sonia. Sorry we missed you guys. Happy birthday. And now, Mr. Varney has a shout out, but I'm going to let him speak for himself.
IB Diploma and Course Certificate Seniors, this is a message that goes out to you especially. Today is the day when you have completed all of your work under very difficult circumstances, and we wanted to celebrate that accomplishment.
We're breaking out our fanciest bottle of bubbly in your honor, and we thought that we would enjoy a little celebratory drink with you.
Oh.
Okay. Be careful, it's expensive. There you go. We're proud of you, each and every one of you. We know it was hard. You showed grit, you showed determination, you showed integrity, and we think you're amazing.
Cheers. All the best.
Cheers.
So sweet.
Have a great holiday weekend. You deserve it.
I love all three countries in North America, but when it comes to eating, I have one favorite. That's Mexico. So we've got a holiday coming up that's celebrated in North America, probably just as much in the United States as it is in Mexico, maybe even more so, and that's Cinco de Mayo, the 5th of May. I don't know why we name a holiday after the actual day that we celebrate it, just like the 4th of July. The Mexicans have the 5th of May, Cinco de Mayo, and to give us more information and some insight about that, we have two of our secondary teachers, Mr. King and Miss Gibbs. Bring it.
Oh, hi, remember me? Sure you do. I'm Mr. King. I'm your local music teacher, history teacher, and sometimes substitute Spanish teacher. So, Cinco de Mayo is just on its way, and what an important holiday. That's the holiday that every American thinks is actually Mexico's Independence Day, but it's actually not Mexico's Independence Day. See, it all rolls down to money. Who owes whom money? I think I said that right. Who owes whom money? So here's what happened. Back in the 1800s, just before the U.S. Civil War, Mexico had been through two wars of its own, the Mexican-American War, and then its own sort of civil war between liberals and conservatives, and who was going to have the most say. And in that time, they kind of spent some money, because as we know, wars cost money. And they owed these other countries, Britain and Spain and France, some money. So the people in Mexico, the politicians said, you know what? We're not going to pay those back. So, of course, people who want their money don't like it when somebody says they're not going to pay them back. So what happened? Well, Britain and Spain made a settlement, but France decided under Napoleon III, who is not the first Napoleon, but Napoleon III, decided they were going to send some troops to go teach those Spanish, or actually to teach those Mexicans a lesson. So they sent 8,000 troops down to try to teach them what to do. And 4,000 Mexican troops set off to fight and battle these 8,000 French troops. And, well, the Mexicans won. It was a big victory because half of the amount of troops beat a bigger group. And that happened on May 5th, or Cinco de Mayo, right? And of course, we all get some great songs like the song I just sang to you, which is Cinco, no, it goes like this. Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo. Cinco de Mayo. Happy Cinco de Mayo.
Now, as many of you know, I'm from Texas, very close to the Mexican border. So I'm wearing my Mexican shirt. I've got my Tejano por vida. That means Tejano for life, Texan, Mexican for life. And I've got a little calendar for my favorite restaurant in Fort Worth. And I'm going to show you how to make the easiest salsa. Okay, what is salsa? Well, salsa can be a dip. Salsa can be a sauce that you put like on eggs or omelets. Salsa is kind of like the condiment of all condiments in Texas. And I'm going to show you a really easy recipe for doing that. Canned tomatoes. Canned tomatoes are fine. You don't have to do fresh tomatoes. Actually, you don't want fresh tomatoes because you have to seed them and peel them, and that's a lot of work. And we don't like that. Okay, you need some cumin, also known as comino. It's a dried spice. You need an onion. Pickled jalapenos are kind of my secret ingredient. In fact, some of the teachers are always asking me to make them salsa. And, you know, they think it's some sort of mystery, but this is kind of my secret ingredient because not only do you use pickled jalapenos, but you use fresh jalapenos. Okay, and jalapeno is just a spicy pepper. These are sometimes hard to find, but you can find sometimes the longer, they're cayenne peppers or green. I like the green ones if you can find a spicy pepper. Now, if you don't have fresh garlic, which I have right here, you can use powdered garlic. Okay, it's a decent substitution. Lime squeezer or a lime juicer. All right, so let's get started. We're going to cut some things apart here. And be careful, knives are sharp, right? Safety first. And in preparation for this, you don't need, put the knife down. You don't need to be real specific or chop things very small because we're going to blend it all up in a blender. So you can just kind of give this a rough chop. You want to get rid of those yucky outer parts. Rough chop here. I think I'm going to put this in a jar. All right. So some sort of, if you're going to use an immersion blender like Mr. Yoder's, remember that he had for his tomato soup, you can use one of these, and you know, you need something kind of long to stick that into, or this also has, you know, like a little chopper like this. So you could use either one, or you could use just a regular blender. Okay, so I'm going to just give this a rough chop. Throw that in there. Squeeze my lime. I like mine pretty limey. So sometimes I'll start with a half, get all that juice out of there. I'll start with a half and then maybe end up with more later. Okay, the tomatoes need to go in. Just dump the whole thing. No need to get rid of that. Okay, maybe a little bit of water just to get the rest of the goodness out of the can. Right. Okay, now garlic. These little guys can be a little finicky at times. So the trick is to put it on a cutting board, flat surface. Take the side of your knife and put it down carefully. Don't do this, kids. Go like this and smash it. And that will help you get the peels right off and just chuck it in there. I also like my salsa garlicky. So I'm gonna start with 2, but we might change that up. All right, for the cumin, you need just 1 teaspoon. A little goes a long way on this guy. Maybe even a little bit less, a scant. We call that a scant teaspoon in cooking. I don't know if you knew this, but I used to be a chef and caterer before I was a teacher. All right, the old Martha Stewart. Okay, so secret ingredient, I'm gonna put about 1/4 of a cup, and I'm gonna put some of those juices in there. I need to dig these guys out. About 1/4 of a cup of pickled jalapenos. This will give some zing and some vinegar and some spice. All right, Renegade there. So there's that. Okay, now this little guy, I have a secret trick. What we're gonna do here is we're gonna lob off the end. Oh my goodness, my knife is not very sharp. And then you see how there's seeds and this white pith in here? That's A, not tasty, and B, super spicy. So we want the flavor of the jalapeno, but not necessarily all of the heat. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a very sharp, pointy knife, and I'm going to go around inside and just kind of hear it crack, and then kind of spit it out. And look, most of those little seeds are gone, okay? Now, the other thing you could do is you could just cut it in half and scrape out the seeds. Okay, that's the other way to do that, but I kind of like the other trick. It's fun. So rough chop on these guys. And there they go. Clean as you go. Ooh, that's a spicy one. Okay. Here in my hand, I have some fresh cilantro. That's what we call it in Texas. You can also, here it's known as coriander. And as you can see, it has stems and leaves. And with cilantro, you can use the whole thing. Parsley, you can't. Don't ever use the stems on parsley. They're bitter, but I'm just going to give this a rough chop. And I'm going to throw them in here. Okay, how much was that? I don't know. Half a cup? Quarter of a cup? Something like that. All right, now we need a pinch of salt. Maybe another pinch there. Now, since this is Cinco de Mayo, Mr. King is going to tell you a little bit about that history, but there is an area of Mexico called Puebla, and they are known for very spicy food, and so I brought this all the way back from Texas. This is a magic ingredient. These are called chipotles, and chipotles are smoked jalapenos. So for this festive occasion, I'm going to put a chipotle in here, but you don't have to. Okay, these are hard to find. I don't know if you can find them in Slovakia, but just for this special occasion, I want to mix this up a little bit. But you can totally leave these out. Okay, now I'm making this batch for a friend, and this friend likes very spicy stuff, so I'm going to put this whole thing in there. Woo! Dang. That's going to be crazy. All right. So we've got onion, tomato, garlic, pickled jalapenos, cumin, salt, cilantro, and lime juice in the jar. And the best part. And voila. Let's give it a taste. Give it a taste. See what that's like. Woo! Hot dang. That is some Puebla salsa. Ta-da! Happy Cinco de Mayo, everybody!
Allá en la tierra de mis padres, allá en la tierra de los dioses.